Oh, that's
Love
an
the flow here,
interesting.
Ruchika. Yeah,
Yes,
people are
I was
literally
just
writing
looking at the chat
countries.
box,
Yeah,
Nitish. Yeah, we've got people from UAE, South Africa, Germany, Nigeria, Pakistan, Mozambique, Philippines, Nepal. Welcome, welcome. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining our workshop today with us. Resume workshop, the resume blueprint. My name is Ruchika,
great.
and I have with me my colleague Nitish. So both of
Hello,
us
everyone.
are going to take you on this journey today. All right.
Great. So happy to see the positive crowd. We welcome once again to all the participants here. Hope you have a fantastic workshop with us. So, since everybody's settling in, Ruchika, why don't we go to some fun icebreakers for the day?
That sounds great, Nitish.
Let us take us to the first icebreaker. As you may see, this is the first icebreaker, guys. And this is
Hmm.
like a very funny one. I'm sure certain people have certain options, but my favorite option is option number C. Right, let's see. So the question is, how many pages should a resume be? I'm repeating the question. How many pages should a resume be? Option number one page. Option number two, 2 to 3 pages. And option number three, 27 pages because I'm that amazing. I really love that option C, Ruchika.
Yeah. Well,
27
is
pages.
that true in your case, Nitish? Do you have a 27-page resume?
I mean, I can write on and on.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I think I'll stick to option B. I have a resume that is 2 pages long. So yeah. It's
so
interesting to
I
see
could
a lot of
see.
interesting options coming up in the chat box.
Yeah. So happy to see nobody saying option number C. That's the happiness.
So
Yeah.
I think a
So
lot
I
of
could see.
answers are going for B, option B, option
Yes.
B.
Great. Love the responses. Option B is the winner.
Someone says C would be crazy. Well, that's true, but there are some
Yeah,
people.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love the way that again I'm repeating, love the way nobody's daring to go to option C. I'm just looking at one option of option C. Nobody. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. Thank you so much, guys, for the first icebreaker. So let's have one more. Can we, Ruchika?
Yes, absolutely. Let's go on to the next icebreaker and see.
Yeah. If you want to say the question out loud, Ruchika.
Sure. So question number two is while preparing your resume, how do you pitch your resume or how do you pitch yourself? Do you present yourself as A, quirky and unique, or B, analytical and logical, or C, as someone who's inspiring and creative, or D, as you are, simple and straightforward, as it is? So, how do you present yourself while writing your resume? Again, I think Nitish, very interesting answers coming in A, B, C, D.
Yeah.
Someone saying a mix. That's great.
It's a mixed response. I could say A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D. Which one is be the highest? According to you, Ruchika, what do you think if you were in the scenario? Which one you pick?
I think I'll oscillate somewhere between B and D, analytical and logical, and who I am. What about
Yeah.
you, Nitish?
I would go for C. I don't know. I have some creative things in my mind, so I would be doing something inspiring and creative.
That's a
And
good
but I
answer.
also wanted it to be quirky and unique. So A and C would be a combination.
For you, a mix of A and
So
C. Okay. Okay.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I guess a lot of people are there with me for C, D. Somebody has said B.
A
Somebody
lot of
has even
people
said
are
D.
saying D. Yes, I noticed.
D.
Options are
Yeah.
there on the screen for everyone to see.
Yeah. Somebody said, is there an option E? No, that is a great. Great. Somebody has said all of the above. That's a very smart
Well,
way to answer all of the above.
yes. And I must say, because when you're writing your resume, you're definitely putting it out, putting yourself out as, applying for a job. So why not? Definitely, you can be a mix of all. Be quirky, be unique, be logical, creative, simple. That's
Absolutely,
amazing.
absolutely,
All of the options are good.
absolutely.
Thank you. Yes. All of the above,
Well, that
mainly.
sets the
That's true.
mood, right, Ruchika? That sets the mood for today's
Absolutely.
fantastic start. Thank you so much, everyone, for continuous support and the participation you have given us for the two wonderful icebreakers. Okay, so let's start, Ruchika. Let's start the best workshop we could give for this amazing people.
Okay. So what do we have for everyone today? Let's take a look. So we are going to talk about definitely resume and various kinds of resume. Okay. Then it'll be followed by how do you write an effective resume? Okay. Again, certain suggestions and examples and points from us, and various kinds of resume templates. As you know, all of us know what a resume is about and how to write one. But what are the different kinds of resume and which resume is most aptly used or is appropriate? We'll talk about that. Then we have understanding ATS and how to make a resume ATS friendly, followed by cover letters and the importance of writing a good cover letter. And then we take up questions from all of you and certain questions that we have for all of you as examples. All right.
Along with this, let me tell you guys, there will be fun polls also to keep you guys entertained. So in between, during our explanation, there will be some fun polls coming up. Like I want the same cooperation from you guys for participating in that as well.
All right, Nitish.
So
So
let's
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 start.
begin this.
Yes.
Yes. So I wanted to start with Ruchika. Like this resume, the word resume, it's such a small word, but it has so much big importance in our career journey, right?
Absolutely. Yes.
So that particular resume really gives us a important feeling that okay, resume is something which we should always update, we should always have, right, through our career. So before we delve into the importance and the meaning of resume, let's understand what is the objective of today's workshop. As you may see, the first objective is provide insight into creating an effective resume. So as the word suggests effective, we always look forward to have an amazing resume, whether it's applying for a new job or whether it's applying for an experienced job. We always want our resume to be the best out of the rest, right? So we are going to see like how to have like a best resume. Second is we could understand various resume templates. As you are aware, there are multiple templates used throughout the globe. Sometimes we are confused which resume is the best because for us, everything looks amazing. We don't know which templates is the right one, which one is the standard format. Certain times I'm sure a lot of people here see a lot of resumes in the LinkedIn. And certain people have this pictorial resumes where a lot of pictures are there. Certain resumes would be just plain. So people would be like, oh, I like this one, but will it give me a good job? Right? So that is always the confusion among people. And the last objective which we're going to do is we are going to familiarize with ATS. It's a new concept. I'm sure you might have heard this term, but I'm also sure that certain people might have also not heard this term called ATS. It's a three-letter word. So we are going to also showcase how ATS, a friendly resume, yet professional resume can be made. So these are some of the objectives which are going to look through this workshop. Now, before we start, there is like a poll which we wanted to do it. Okay. So before we start, like I said, the first poll is coming right now.
And that
Can you
poll
guys see the
is going
poll?
to be visible for a minute. Please let us know if you can see the poll or not.
Are you guys able to see the poll?
I think
Yes.
it's visible now on the
Yeah,
screen
yeah.
for everyone. I'll read it out for everyone's benefit. So the question is, if your resume font, the font with which we type, could describe your personality, what would it say? It's a single choice answer: serious, playful, or like a bold personality.
Yes, that's some really good options out there, Ruchika. So, guys, I want
Yes.
your votes here before we start. I'm sure everyone has a personality of writing, right? Some likes to go full serious on the resume. Some likes to go, okay, I will only mention this and this. Some people are super bold. Ruchika, recently I've come across a resume where they have literally written adventure things on their resume. They like skydiving, scuba diving, everything they have mentioned in their resume for a marketing job.
That's great, isn't it? So
Yeah,
it brings us to the, if you remember the previous question of our poll, that is how one would stand apart as someone who's quirky and unique. So you are
yeah,
highlighting your USP, your strong points without mentioning them right there, you know. But yes, I am fond of, you know, all these activities that sets you apart. So that's great.
correct,
All
correct,
right.
correct. I
We have a
hope
lot of
everybody can see the
questions also
polls.
coming in.
Just wanted to make sure that everybody is able to see the poll.
Okay, I got to see done from where. Okay,
A
done.
lot of
Okay,
people,
yes.
once you're done, you can just put done in the chat box. You have 30 more seconds to vote for the poll.
Done,
I could
done,
see a
done.
lot of
Okay.
people. I'm just really interested to see the final result. Ruchika,
Well,
what do
so
you
am
think?
I. I
Yeah,
think
it would be a battle. Ooh, it's serious, playful, and bold.
serious
See,
takes the cake.
everybody wants to take. Yes,
But that's how, if I was given the option, Nitish, I would have also picked serious, because you want to depict someone who takes their job seriously, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay, that's
serious.
great.
That's great. Serious won the race, I guess. It's like how the Joker says, "Why so serious?" So they have taken this thing very seriously.
Yeah, now I
Okay,
think they've got the answer. All right. So,
great.
Nitish, resume, I'm sure all of us have heard this term. We know what it is about. We all say, I have to make my resume, I have to send my resume to a company. But what exactly is that? So, simply put, it is a document that we send. It's a formal document wherein we highlight our qualifications and experience for a particular job. Is that correct, Nitish? Yes.
Correct, correct,
Yes.
correct.
Now, how is it and what is it called? And it is also known as curriculum vitae, CV. Now, it was used to be known as CV earlier. Now everyone refers to it as resume. A lot of people say resume, but resume is the correct pronunciation. Okay. Now, as we discussed, it highlights the educational background of a person, experience, skills, and achievements. Now, achievements can vary. For a person who's just finished college, his or her achievements, or that person's achievements, can be, taking part in the dramatics club, or coming first in one of the sports achievements, you know. So achievements can vary from all sections. Okay. One
Correct.
second. Yeah. Yes, it is
Yeah.
used for applying for jobs or any other opportunities. That's true. it helps in employers in evaluating the qualification. So basically, it's simply put, it's a document that helps an employer in selecting the right candidate or the right fit. Okay. Yeah. Do you want to add anything to that, Nitish?
I would say like how we grow every time, like from we always start something like as a fresher, then we go to an experienced person with a lot of expertise and knowledge with achievements. Don't you think the resume word should also get changed, right? It's like curriculum vitae, right? A lot of people know, but resume is something, it's a small letter word, but it has a big significance. So I feel the name
That's
also
true.
should be changed with our progress.
That's true. That's true. Yes.
But having said
That is
that,
why we get,
yeah,
that's why you see, if the points keep adding on. All right.
yeah. But jokes apart, I would totally agree with you. This is a very important document, whether in the life of a fresher or an experience, it really adds the depth and the importance in your work journey. Yes, it's ready for another poll, guys. You must be wondering how the poll just got over. Why another poll? Because it's an interesting session. Polls has to be there, right, Ruchika?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's time for the poll number 2. Okay, it's just something I'm sure you must have observed this particular term. Let's see like who all had observed this particular word in our slide. Okay, so let's start for the poll number 2. Okay, so this is a very easy question. Poll number 2. What is the full form of ATS? We have 4 options: application training system, application transactional system, application tracking system, application transport system. Please
Yeah.
vote, guys. We would love to hear. I love the options. Everything is confusing. I remember our school college days, right? There were like a lot of similar options we used to get. We used to think, oh, this could be that because the first letter and the last word, everything used to be same. Only certain words or digits used to be different. So let's see who gets the maximum vote. But I guess ATS is something which has recently turned out to be the best nowadays, Ruchika, because people are
Absolutely.
actually connecting resume and ATS together.
That's true. That's true. Because let everyone answer that, and then we'll come
We'll
to the
tell.
next part. Yes. Well, like we mentioned, what is the, so okay. So
Yes,
everyone is paying
75
attention.
people.
That's great. 75% of people said application tracking system.
Yeah.
Since we are on the topic of resumes these days, ATS or application tracking system is the full form, is being used by a lot of companies. A lot of companies hire the software or the system to shortlist the people for a vacancy or a post. So our resume, if it's structured as per ATS, it increases the chances, so to say, of us being selected for a particular job. Okay. To give you an example, we should stick to, no using acronyms or jargons. Okay. Because ATS selects the resume on the basis of simple fonts, no pictures. Okay. So we'll talk about how ATS selects the resume. And that is why it is important to know the system which helps us in kind of getting our resume ahead. Okay. So Nitish, should we move on to the next slide now? Yeah.
Yes, definitely. Okay, so as you guys have currently identified, the full form of ATS is applicant tracking system. Okay, so let me give you a glimpse about what is about. Why the bus? Okay, this is very important because it is an application that really scans your whole resume, or we call it CV, with the relevant keywords. at times there are certain keywords used for certain positions. Let's say if you're going for a marketing role, okay, so certain keywords like sales, targets, it's some words which you will be like using or you will be seeing. Let's say you're going for something data. So there the keywords would be like AI, blockchain. So these are some of the keywords which usually attracts that particular profile or particular role. So in the same way, this is a software application that really scans resume for the relevant keywords. Second, it collects, scans, and ranks all the applications received. So ATS's system is such a way that it collects the information. It knows like where you stand on that particular thing, which area is your best area. It ranks about like, okay, this is your best feature. This is like something which is not your best. In that way, by ATS, you will be able to identify which is your correct area of expertise. And the last point here is it aids in spotting key elements in resumes. So it really highlights the strong points in your resume. So this kind of highlighting will really help you identify what are the strong points, what are the keywords, or what are the things you should be knowing about your resume. And this kind of keywords really helps you in your future interviews or certain rounds, which really helps you crack the deal of your dream job. So Ruchika, you want to add something to this?
I think you've covered everything. Let's move ahead so that we'll have we can come back to answering questions and then whatever questions are there.
Yeah.
And I
Right.
think Nitish, like you rightly covered, why ATS? Because it is productive. It saves time. These days there are multiple applications, thousands, and maybe more than that. For one job opportunity, there are multiple number of applicants. Now, how is it that the correct or the right resume gets selected? ATS comes in the picture and helps it. So ATS is definitely productive. There is no recruiter or a person sitting there scanning and going through the resumes. Okay, unbiased. It doesn't matter what's your name, what's your age, which country you are from, or where do you live. It is unbiased. System scans through, and the keyword matching is the only criteria for ATS to pick up your resume and takes you to the next level or the next round. Yeah. So ATS is crucial and important tool that is being used by the employers.
Now we are going to discuss how ATS works, right? Everybody has this question, Ruchika, how ATS works. A lot of theory, how it really works. That's the biggest question everybody is having nowadays. Would you like to give a light about it, Ruchika?
Sure. So as we proceed, when we see the points, we talk about it in detail.
Yeah.
So as you all can see on your screen, this is an example from end to end. Now, company creates a job posting. Okay, they publish it everywhere. That's how we know that there is a job vacancy in a certain company. It gets published on a website, on a job board, LinkedIn, various job sites, platforms, and different emails. Okay, now job applications come in and system scans them. Okay, now how does the system scan is basis the keywords like we mentioned. So let's go ahead and take a look. Yeah.
So now, how Ruchika was mentioning that how the system scans this thing, basically the system scans on this basis. As you may see, the resume include a lot of things. That is your work experience, your education, if you have any additional skills, or certain times you know multiple languages and you might also have various certifications. So it scans the resume in such a way that everything highlights in a certain way and it will rank you accordingly, like which is like your best area, which is where you have done amazingly well, or this is like your best feature. So these are some of the factors which ATS scans, and once it scans, it search for the keywords matching the job descriptions and qualifications. Like I said, I gave you an example of a marketing job. So if your profile actually have that particular word, you might have done so much of sales, pitching, or you might have created a lot of products, or you have pitched, or you have created a brand or something like that for that particular thing, it will really scan, okay, this particular job had that particular role where you have really able to pitch a product or create a brand. I will give you another example. Let's say if it's a finance job, okay, where you are constantly into bankings and finance and numbers. So let's say you have done something regarding that. You have worked in a banking industry, or you were an accountant or something like that, where you know the balance sheet, accounts, liability, and everything. So if you have done something in that particular role, it actually search for the keywords. Oh, this guy is good at, or this girl is good at accounting, or this person is really good at numbers. So it actually scans those keywords and it actually prepares you for that particular profile which you're applying. If you think like, okay, these are some of the factors I could not find, ATS actually helps you find. And once you got an idea, oh, this is how my resume looks like, you can always apply to that particular job, and you can actually crack a beautiful interview because you actually have that experience and exposure.
Next, we have an example of how ATS picks up a resume. Okay. So while applying for a tax manager position, okay, applicant's resume summary will look like such as highly driven tax manager with 5+ years of financial experience in managing tax returns and affairs, proven experience of success, employer satisfaction, and strong communication skills. If your resume doesn't match the basic list of requirements, it is automatically discarded. If it does, then it's ranked by relevance. Now, if you all look towards the right part of the screen, you will see how ATS reads as tax manager and how this is the keyword. So if tax manager is in quotes, if that matches, that's how it checks it. 5+ years of experience, that checks. Tax returns and affair, check employee satisfaction. Okay. So these software ATS, there are many companies and many softwares available for employers in the market to kind of, take the help of ATS and scan the applicants. Okay. Now, how it helps is the keyword matching. So while writing one's resume, what we all, or what one should focus on is how can I tweak or match my resume to match the employer's, demand or the criteria set out by the employer. So similarly, the case that you can see, or the example that you can see on the screen, if it's a tax manager, then you highlight that aspect. Okay. And I see a lot of questions in the chat box. So Nitish, I'll just quickly answer one question before we move on to the next slide.
Yes,
do
yes,
we need to
definitely.
make resume matching to the kind of opportunity? Yes, there are times when we need to tweak our resume before every job application. And why is that also, I will tell you all. To ensure that we are the right fitment or we are the right matching for that job opportunity. So yes, we do need to tweak our resume we do need to tweak the resume to match the job requirement.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly. So that's why I was also mentioning in the last slide that this ATS actually scans that particular feature which is right for your particular job. So as you can see in the example, this is an example of a tax manager job where the ATS is actually checking if you are actually eligible for that particular position. So if you know the ATS like this, you will get an idea that, okay, I have this kind of exposure, I have this kind of experience. So you will also be more confident that, okay, I am actually the right candidate for this particular job. So that's the agenda of checking in the ATS.
Yeah. Now moving on to the next slide now, Nitish.
Yeah.
So we've spoken about what ATS does and how it picks. Let's look in detail as to, I think we've gone ahead, right?
Gone ahead. Previous.
Yeah.
Previous.
One more, if you can go back one slide, please. Yeah. The other one. Yeah. Thank you.
No, the next one.
So
Yeah,
creating
this
an
one.
ATS friendly resume.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. One is it starts with selecting the right resume format. Okay. Now there are many resume formats that are there in the market. Very, very important question coming in, people asking, how do we know what is the right format? Well, to be honest, there are categories of formats. However, there is no right or wrong. Just ensure that you are highlighting all the important education, qualifications, skills, and achievements on an A4 size paper, and it's right there for the employer to see, because that is what will help the ATS in picking up. Okay. Now, appropriate file type. There are times, I am not sure if you all have also experienced, but Nitish, because you can answer my question now. When we apply for a job, there are times when it says not supported, the document file not supporting. Yeah. So ensure
Yes.
that your file or your resume is in a simple Word document format .doc, which is applicable, or which is acceptable rather, everywhere in the world. Yeah.
Correct.
Okay. We still on the previous slide. Yes.
Previous slide. Yeah.
Yeah. Using an ATS compatible resume template. We'll come to that in detail. However, remember, no pictures, no making it extremely, like a fancy image, because that will take away what you are trying to project or highlight in terms of your qualifications and experiences. Okay. So stick to a simple layout, which is good readable font, wherein we don't have to, stress our eyes and read the font size. Please ensure that the background is neat and clean, white and black, not colorful. That is how ATS will be able to read and scan through. So while someone's made it nice and bright, the guarantee or the chances of ATS picking up your resume may not be so high. Okay. Label the sections correctly. Sections are various categories in your resume, such as your personal information, your qualification, your career objective, or your experiences. Okay. Tailor each resume with appropriate keywords. I think we've spoken about it, but definitely
Taking that breath. Yeah.
when we open for questions, do ask if you have any questions in the end, okay, in terms of resume. Yeah. Okay. Nitish, do you want to take this?
There's an error in the font, but yeah. So these are some of the tips how Ruchika has mentioned, like a clear path of how ATS identify and what are the do's and don'ts you need to be careful. So this is just a tip how you actually have a ATS friendly resume, right? The first one is use the keywords, right? This actually gives you a lot of keywords. So make sure in your resume also you highlight certain keywords due to which ATS can pick up. Second is the contact information. Make sure the information and everything is true. You can't give any fake information or something like that. Next is simple formatting, like how Ruchika mentioned that you can't go creative here while adjusting. You might have made a drawing out of it, but ATS won't identify the drawing, right? So that time words has to be mentioned. So simple format always works. And of course, the job title. So whatever title you are applying for or something like that, always make sure that you should know that which job you're applying for. According to that thing, ATS will scan that thing. And once you are aware about the job title and everything, then you will get an idea, oh, this is some keyword which was there on the job posting, or this is some keyword which was there in that particular role which I had applied for last time. And the next thing is you need to proofread your resume. It's like in our daily life, we get thousands of mails, right? And we also check mails, we also write emails. Okay. At times we write certain mails and we just click send because maybe we were in rush or something like that. Then later we realize, oh, I might have written this spelling wrong, or I might have sent something else. So that doesn't look good. So if you are actually sending the resume or the CV to your dream job or any particular company which you are interested in, you should have a great impression. How to have that great impression? You should always check all the errors, if everything is aligned, if my qualification. Sometimes even we might quickly send our name spelling might be wrong, right, Ruchika? At times we might even don't
Absolutely.
leave spaces between names and surnames. You never know. So we should
So
always proofread the resumes before sending it.
grammar,
We need to
spell
keep it
check,
simple. Yeah.
and proofreading. Yeah. Two things we need to do to ensure that the resume is up to the mark.
And that abbreviations at times, like we need to make sure that we don't use any shortcuts. In our daily life, we use a lot of shortcuts on our WhatsApp, Instagram, right? We can't just write. I'll give you a funny example. We can't just write like TTYL, talk to you later. We can't do that in your resume or your email, right? Or be right back, BRB. So we
Or
need to avoid
Nitish,
those.
when someone says FMCG, now that we know, yet a lot of people still don't know. So they keep wondering, is this father, mother, child, and grandparent? Yeah, but jokes
Yeah,
apart, try and stick to, the full form. So there is no
full
scope of
form.
ambiguity. Yeah. Okay,
Because I
moving
have
on.
seen a lot of people doing abbreviations, like even the smallest
Right.
word. So WHAT, still people use it WHT. Even OK also, I guess OK can be an exceptional, even though
K,
OKAY.
you mean K?
Yeah.
So,
K, certain people use
which
that.
means no using text language in the CV or our resume, right?
Yeah.
Because it because if coming back to the same thing, if we want ATS to pick up our resume, we need to write the full form,
The full
leaving
form.
nothing.
Yes, yes,
Yeah. Okay. Should we go to your
yes.
favorite part of the session, Nitish? Another poll?
Oh, polls, another poll coming for you guys.
All right. Well, on that note, I want to tell you, Nitish, that in the previous poll, we had 69% participation. Let's see how many we have
Wow.
now. So thank you, everyone, whoever participated. Now, let's see if 90% people, what do you say? You think that's possible, Nitish?
Let's see. It depends
Yeah.
upon the question, right? But we make sure that we get the best question for the day. So poll number 3, guys. I'll read out the question. How often do you refresh your resume? Right? A lot of people will be like, oh, did I do that? I think I did that yesterday. So this are some funny options. One is every 6 months. Second option is only when job hunting, only when I need work. Third option is my friend refreshes and edit my resume. All is dependent on your close friends. So let's see, guys. I'm hoping the third option. What do you think? I'm sure there will be some of people who must be thinking, but they don't want to say it.
And Nitish, what is your answer to this question? How often do you refresh your resume?
To be very honest, option number B, right?
Only when
Because
job
that is the
hunting.
time when we actually, yeah, when we actually go for a switch or something like that. Just my personal opinion. But yeah. What about you, Ruchika?
Yeah, well, high five on that. B
Yeah.
option for me. Okay, let's see what the poll suggests.
But I
Okay,
love those
well,
people who do it regularly, who always
yeah,
updates
well,
regularly. I really salute those people.
yeah, well, Suleiman says I do edit it regularly. That's amazing, Suleiman. If you edit it on a regular
Good,
basis,
good
that's what
job, Suleiman.
we should do.
Yes, 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 yes. We should always update. Now it's time for results. Oh, 69% votes with us only when
Oh
job
yes.
hunting. Yeah, that 2% people, my friends refresh. I wonder who they are. But thank you so much, guys. This is why we use this word because it is very important to update resume at regular interval. At times, you might be hearing this word, oh, it's a very outdated resume. You're not following the trend. It's like clothes, right? Sometimes we don't follow the fashion. Oh, it's an outdated trend. Same goes with resume. Every time the format and everything gets changed. There are times when we might have not been updated about your previous job. In our resume, it might be still the previous job. Then later, when we go to the interview, we feel like, oh, I did not mention that. Because at times the interviewer asks, like, whatever you are seeing, it is not reflected in your resume. Why? Because it's not updated. So
That's
thank
true.
you so much, guys, for that beautiful contribution to the poll. Now, this is the types of resume when everybody talks about, right? These are the different types of resume. I'm sure everybody might have heard certain names, but I'm also sure that certain people would be like, oh, these are the types of resume. I'm sure. Multiple responses, Richika, multiple thought
Absolutely.
process.
Absolutely. I think most of us are, as we go ahead, we have an example of each kind of resume for you all so that you know and get
Yes,
familiarized yourself that which resume is what is it called. Okay. I think most of
best
us
for you.
work upon chronological, but as you can see, there are some that are functional, some which are combination infographic and federal. So we'll talk about each one in detail as we proceed. Okay.
So these are the different types of resume, guys. I will just read out that for everyone. The first one was chronological, second one was functional, third one was combination, fourth one was infographic, and the fifth one is federal. So we are going to look all these resume types. Why this resume types? Because this is quite trending throughout the globe. And every resume type has a different significance and importance. Okay, so as you may see, this is the type of resumes, and this is mentioned like when is this most suited or applicable. Okay, so first we will go with the chronological resume. Previous slide. Okay, so first we are going to showcase the importance, guys. Then we are going to showcase how that particular thing looks like. Okay, the first one is the chronological resume. Okay, so let's understand when is it most suited or applicable. Okay, so as the word suggests, chronological. Okay, this is used when the employment history is without gaps and the applicant or the particular person has long record of accomplishments and skills in the same industry. Okay. So let's say, for example, if you are working in a finance industry for 10, 20 years, so you have the same industry experience throughout. You have not changed the sector. Maybe the particular role might be changed, but you have still stick to the same finance sector. And there is no gaps in your work role. And you have done a lot of achievements. Maybe you must be the best employee there. You might have won awards. You must be very good at numbers. Nobody can beat you. You must be the topmost person in that company. So that is where chronological resume comes into the picture. The second one is the functional resume. So now we will understand when it is most suited. So for the functional resume, when the applicant is changing industries or there are sizable gaps in the applicant's work history. So let's say, for example, this particular person, after his studies, he started off with marketing first. For let's say 1 or 2 years, that particular person is working for marketing. Then he realized, oh, there is too much of targets and sales work. I'm not meant for that. Let me find some job which is more easier. Let me find some offices where I can just want to sit in the office and work. So let's say he got some other role into logistics or some digital marketing or something like that. Then again he thinks like, oh, this is too much of marketing again. I love travel. Let me go to some traveling jobs because I just saw some beautiful traveling shows and I love to be a part of it. So he or she will apply for some traveling jobs. So in that way, the person's career graph and the sector keeps changing in that thing. So that particular thing is called functional resume. The third one is the combination resume. So let's see when it is most suited and applicable. So where combination resume is used when the applicant or the person has developed technical skills or over a long period or time has transferable skills with full details and work history. So in this particular thing, that particular person might have developed something better, maybe at advanced level. Maybe when they started off their career, they only know limited skills. They must be on the level one or level two. When they progressed, let's say after 3 years of experience, after 5 years of experience, now they are in level 10. They are more experienced, or they might have added more skills into their job role. So that is where they might have developed more technical skills over a long period of time. This kind of resumes is usually used using technical jobs, maybe IT or something like that. where more skills are being used frequently. The
So,
fourth one is infographic resume and federal resume. Ruchika, would you like to give a glimpse about both of them?
sure. I just wanted to add one thing, Nitish, for combination resume.
Yeah.
It's as if let's say I've been in education and training industry for about 15 years now. Now today, if I kind of go ahead and complete a course in terms of computers or some like a certification course, PMP or something, then I will move from chronological to a combination resume. Yeah, after a long history of specialized skills, I will add technical skills. So I will move from chronological to combination. Okay. Now, moving on to infographic resume, it's mostly used for people who have creative kind of jobs or skills, right? Um, let's say graphic designing skills. Please be aware while choosing infographic, ATS resume, ATS may not pick up this resume because a lot of graphics are involved, right? Infographic is nothing but when you mix pictures and words, right? Make it more vibrant and colorful. Maybe not ATS appropriate, however, good to showcase your skills, right? And federal, as we all can see on our screen, that it is important while applying for a job with US federal government. Okay, so if anyone is keen on pursuing a career with the US federal government, then they should go in for a federal resume. Okay, most of us, just to sum it up, most of us fall in between like a chronological versus a functional and a mix of
Functional
combination.
combination.
Yeah. Okay, moving
So
ahead, we have an example of a resume. So this one, as we all can see, is a simple, clear-cut
chronological resume.
resume with working backwards. So if we are in 2023. So we talk about 2023 to 2020. 3 years been working with ABC or the current company, then from 2020 to 2015, then from 2015. So simply put, in a decreasing order. That's what talks about history chronology.
Chronological.
Okay.
As you may see, this is the example, and it actually showcases how the resume should look like. Okay. Now, as you may see, the first one is resume summary. As you may see in the picture, there should be always a summary. Like we should know, like now what that like summary is like an aim. Like this is my aim, or this is something like which I'm expertise. Let's say, for example, if you are an expert of let's say 10 years, so 10 years experience in with MBA or 10 years experience in data, something like that. So always your resume should start with an introduction. It's like when we meet a new person, we always start with a name. So that resume should also have an introduction regarding the relevant experience, achievements, and skills. Then it's followed by professional experience, education, and the additional skills. So this is how the chronological order goes. Now we are going to showcase how a functional resume looks like. As you may see, this is the picture of the functional resume. As you may see, this is the format. Okay. So again, it starts with the summary, introduction, and everything. But second, as you may see the difference, right? Here we are talking about the relevant skills. Okay, because we are actually changing a lot of things. So we need to highlight like which skill is needed for that particular role. So we are categorizing the skills according to the profile. Then we talk about work history and then the education sector. Okay, so this is the functional resume. Now we are going to showcase you how the combination resume looks like. Now, as you may see, this is the structure of the combination resume. So here, like I said, combination speaks a lot about technical skills or additional skills you have achieved. Okay, so it starts with again the starter remains common because it starts with a summary of your whole experience, then the technical skills, because this particular resume really focuses on technical skills, what you have achieved during your work period, then your work history, then your education. So that is how the format will look like. Now we are going to see how an infographic resume will look like.
Colorful.
Ruchika, would you like to explain
Sure.
this.
So as we all can see, this looks like a very funky, colorful resume. I can see the answers in the chat box. Asking, so while infographic resume is a mix of pictures and creativity, okay, the chances of an infographic resume being picked up by an ATS are quite low. Okay, so for all those not working in any creative field or not planning to pursue a graphic designing or any kind of designing course, please stick to a chronological or a functional or a combination resume. I can see a lot of questions. You're too fast on showing. Okay, we will go back. I think everyone wants to take a look again. So if we can
we will look again.
move
Yeah.
back 2-3 slides, please. Yeah, we'll highlight for everyone.
Yeah.
Okay.
The first one, please, chronological. Yeah.
So as we can see, chronological resume is simply the resume summary followed by your experience starting from current, moving backwards. Okay. So 2023, going back to your educational qualification, if you have 5 years of experience, you highlight that. And then if you have a 2 years of work experience somewhere else before that, you highlight that 2 years experience. So 5, 2, then your educational qualification. In functional resume, the only difference, if we can go ahead one slide, yeah.
Take to the functional
Similarly,
resume. Yeah.
summary, relevant technical skills as of now, customer service, yeah, relevant skill set per se experience. So if let's say I am from sales department, moved into education and training, I will highlight my current experience first, which is education and training, and then highlight my sales experience, because we are moving functions. That is why it's called a functional resume. And the rest remains the same. Yeah. Now coming to combination, as Nitish had mentioned, we highlight our current technical skills after the summary, and then we go to the previous work experience. So in combination, you are highlighting your current technical skills plus your work experience. And then we have infographic, wherein you have experience plus pictures and you're showcasing your creativity.
So somebody has asked which resume suits the best out of all. So I would suggest all of them. Like, it all depends upon the roles. At times, if you're a person who has done all his or her life in one sector, let's say if you're a person who loves finance, banking, and you have stick to this whole work life into that sector, chronological is the best format for you. But if you're a person who keeps on changing, at times we also have that confusion during our different stages of like, oh, this is trending. Let me go to data. Or this looks. Let me go to marketing. Or let me go to HR. So if you are that person who keeps on changing the profiles and changing the things, then functional resume is the best. If you're a person who's into technical field like data, IT, and everything, combination is the best resume. And if you're a person who's into a lot of creativity, a lot of artwork, like digital, a lot of things, if you're into media, a lot of things, infographic resume, because there you need to showcase your creative skills. Let's say, for example, if you're a photographer or if you're a creative head, so you need to showcase that. And the final federal, as Ruchika mentioned, it is basically for the
US federal government.
US federal things. And this is an different resume. So the person who was really interested in this particular thing, we would suggest you to use that particular thing.
Nitish, we'll take one quick minute to answer a couple of very interesting questions. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay,
Definitely.
So I can see one question. It's very interesting question. Can one use infographic resume for blogging? Yes, you may. However, if you know it's a big job opportunity, it's a big company, and they may have an ATS software scanning the resumes, then you may not. Okay. But if you are, let's say, sending it to one of your contacts working in that organization, then yes, right? So please remember that the answers may be very case specific and they can vary from a person to person and depending upon your varied background. Okay. I can see Tasleem asking for lawyer. Okay. Well, if you've been practicing law
For the whole
for
life.
X number of years, yeah. And if you think you're going to practice law again for another good 10-15 years, then yes, definitely stick to a chronological resume because that's
Wow.
more apt. Yeah. If you do not intend to change your resume, your job sector, job function, then stick to chronological resume. That's the most suited. Yeah. Have we answered your
Yeah,
question?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It
Good.
all depends. In future, let's say after 10, 15 years, if you think like, oh, law is not meant for me, I should, then maybe functional, but we would suggest you for the chronological because that's the best format. It will really showcase your whole career as a lawyer. And of course, all the skills, all the relevant things are mentioned in one single resume. So it makes the best out of your work role. So I guess one more poll is coming up, guys.
Oh, that's
After
amazing. Let's
discussing,
go.
it's time for the poll, and it talks about something which is coming up, which is called the
Wow.
cover letter.
I would love to read this question for everyone. So
Yes. Go ahead.
our poll number 4 is, if your cover letter had a secret ingredient, what would it be and how would it help for you to stand out from the rest? So glitter, because it adds
Glittering.
sparkles to your achievements. Hot sauce, because it spices up your skills. Chocolate chips, because it sweetens your personality. All right, Nitish, time for you to also answer this question.
I'm hungry already. Lots of food items here. Well, all looks interesting. I love the options here. I
Need to
would,
pick
I would,
one.
yeah. I don't know. I would go for glitter because it's actually sparkles to your achievements. It's just an additional document, like where with the resume you are actually mentioning your sparkling your achievements and things to the other person.
Mhm.
I would go for glitter. What about you,
Okay.
Ruchika?
Well, I think I love chocolate, so I'll stick to chocolate chips.
Ah, I so knew it, you're gonna go for chocolate chips.
So yeah, let's see.
I wonder what would be the responses would be.
It's going
Which
to be
option do you
interesting.
think which will have the highest? Which option do you think? What does your gut feeling says? Which option will have like a high
I don't
response?
know. I think like it'll be difficult to decide. I think we'll see equal
Yeah,
numbers going up and down for glitter and hot
yeah,
sauce and
yeah,
chocolate
yeah.
chips.
I don't know if somebody who loves spicy food, they will say hot sauce. Certain people love sauces,
Quite a
but if certain
possibility.
people love that glitters and all, I don't know. If I mean like all the options are something which everybody likes, but let's see. It's a tie between glitter and hot sauce.
Really?
It's a tie.
So,
Yeah.
so most of our audience, our participants, they come on, guys. Let's add chocolate chips too.
Only
Okay, that's
16% are with
interesting.
you, enjoying the chocolate with you, but
Mhm.
major people goes
Hot
for the
sauce,
glitter and hot sauce. There's like
that's
a
quite
very
interesting.
less difference between because people just want things that it just adds a sparkle to their experience and their achievements and skills. All right. So since we discussed about one of the most important factor in our workshop, that is resume, after that, now let's discuss the second important factor, that is cover letter. Why cover letter? Because a lot of people think it is just an additional document. Is it really necessary? I'm just spending more time by attaching an additional document at times, or certain people only send cover letters when asked. So today in this workshop, we are gonna brief you why cover letter also acts very important. It is like a baby of resume. You need to keep it going. You need to keep it together. And when you grow more, when you are more professional and experienced, that cover letter will really play a very, very important role in your job profile or the profile which you are applying for. You never know. Because of that cover letter, you might get your dream job. Right, Ruchika?
Absolutely. And just to add on to what Nitish is saying, I'm sure a lot of you will be aware of this, that at a lot of designations as you grow up in your career, at a lot of job postings, or let's say if I have a job opening that I'm aware and I want Nitish to apply, okay, so I will ask Nitish, instead of sending his resume, why don't you send me your cover letter? On the basis of cover letters too, a lot of people get shortlisted. Okay, so it's that important. It is definitely important in today's world to move ahead. Like you were saying, Nitish, that I wish there was a name that, resume should have moved to a new name. But let me tell you that now it should be called resume and cover letter. It's not just resume alone, right? So, yeah, now as we all can see on our screen, cover letter is a narrative complement. Okay, it adds, that's why it says complement. Okay, it adds to the resume, it adds highlights to your, you know, experience, or it showcases what you've done. Okay, again, it's a single page document that highlights your, so instead of going into resume which has your educational summary, your personal likes and dislikes, or your schooling and college details and all of that, this is more specific to the role per se. Let's say if you've done something extraordinary, if you achieved something, if you've done X number of sales, or if you've achieved X number of target for your company, this is the place where you highlight those achievements. Okay. And also it answers a very important question, which is why you as a person want to work for the company or the organization that you are applying to. Is that correct, Nitish? Yes.
Yes, definitely. Because that question always remains in everybody's heads. Why this job? Why this job? Right? So basically, this is a short document or an additional sample you are actually tagging along with your resume, which states such questions like why you are really interested in this particular role or that organization. What makes you special or what makes you different from the rest? So that's why this particular cover letter is very much important part of the resume and the job. Now we'll go to the next slide and see what cover letter is all about and what is the purpose, why people actually do it and everything. So let's, after understanding what is a cover letter, let's understand what is the purpose. Like in life also, everybody thinks like, oh, what is my life's purpose? I know it's a very spiritual question, right? And at times we always think about that, but with the cover letter also, there should be a purpose. That's why that particular document is created, right? So let's understand the first point here is showcasing qualification for the desired job position. So you must be wondering that particular qualification is already mentioned in the resume. Why are we again mentioning here in the cover letter? That must be the question in everybody's mind right now. That's because in that resume, you have just mentioned that this is the particular company, this is my role, or maybe one or not one or two, two or three job responsibilities you might have mentioned. In the particular thing, you can actually mention additional qualifications or educational thing. Same goes as in resume, you might have mentioned that oh, I might have done my master's from here, I might have done my grads from here. So there you can actually mention that what additional things you did. Maybe you must have done volunteering, you must have done some additional things or some extra curricular things which actually makes you fit for that particular thing. That qualification, you must have taken a test, or maybe you might have taken an additional. Yes, Ruchika, you were saying something. I
No,
could
just
see this.
wanted to add one thing which is very,
Yeah.
very important. Like you rightly said, resume will highlight what you have done. But remember, along with you, there are thousands of other applicants who are sending the same document to the employer. Now, this is what makes the difference, and this is what will set you apart from the rest. So, the importance, I see a lot of people asking, do we need to write cover letters and are they important?
Yes, yes,
Yes,
yes.
yes, yes, very much important. They so in times of your Glassdoor and LinkedIn and any other, networking website, cover letter still holds on to its own. Okay, it's still important
Yes.
when you apply for any opportunity. Yes, we'll talk about in detail of a cover letter. However, it is very important to create a cover letter. And like I mentioned earlier, like your resume, a cover letter also needs to be tweaked and changed when applying for a certain job. Okay, so don't think that one resume and one cover letter will work for all kind of job opportunities. That's not going to happen, guys. Please create and update your resume and cover letter for every job application. Yeah. Let me ask this, Nitish, do we eat the same kind of food for all meals of the day,
Definitely
every day
not.
of the week? No. We change,
No.
we change our clothes also. Why? So there is variety, right? Similarly, every
Yes.
day the feeling is different, the mood is different. Every job opportunity along with it brings some difference and some
Correct.
more highlighting, like we said, glitter or hot sauce. I think every flavor is not appropriate. Similarly, every job application that you apply to, you may not get to kind of showcase or provide what is it that you've done for that job role. Okay, but you may get that option with another job opportunity. So please update your resume and cover letter with each job application. What I mean to say is, whenever you apply in ABC company, it should be different. Tweak it more to the company so it meets what the employer is looking for. Yeah, is that correct, Nitish? Yes.
Yes, yes, definitely, definitely. Adding to what Ruchika said, cover letter is important because it adds as an additional document to make sure that why you are fit for that particular role. Okay, like how Ruchika mentioned that one particular company, let's say one top company gets thousands of applications every day, right? So they must be bored of seeing every same set of resumes every time. So maybe your cover letter can change that. Maybe in your cover letter there is something written which is not there in other people's cover letter. Or maybe let's say there is like a position of finance or marketing, and let's say there are 10 vacancies, and the particular company has got 100 applicants for in a day. And in that 100 applicants, only your particular profile might be having a cover letter and you got hired. You never know. Or at times it might happen that that particular cover letter really attract that particular person's view, because at times you see a lot of great people who loves writing, and if you have a beautiful writing style in the cover letter, that might really capture the attention. So that really gives that the third point is actually captures attention and fosters a meaningful interviewer connection, because at times the cover letter also speaks about additional things which you can't or which you are not able to mention in your regular resume, because we don't want to get it too much of information in our resume. So whatever the additional things, it could be your educational qualification or additional things you must have done in your school college life. It could be some achievements which you wanted to elaborate, or it could be some work experience where you might have solved that particular problem, or you might have actually able to transform that particular situation, or maybe your success, a short success story or an example you can actually mention in that cover letter. You never know. One example or one glimpse of your additional things can really land you a beautiful role or the dream job which you have always aimed for. So that is why that cover letter, even though it's a small letter, but it is very, very important. Now, now let's talk about how impactful is this cover letter is. What cover letter should look like, or what does that impact the cover letter actually makes. It's like the how the first point narrates, it tells a story demonstrating your brand connection. Okay, so at times, let's say you are applying for a marketing job or an operation job or something, you are actually applying for a top job. Okay. And that particular person wants a candidate who is expert in, let's say, that particular company or strategy, or that person should know in and out of that brand, maybe from the past to the present, all the achievements or all the things which the company has gone through, ups and downs and everything. So maybe in your cover letter, if you had mentioned certain things, oh, I'm aware, I have done project, something like that, where I've closely studied of that particular thing. So basically, you are actually telling a story about your brand connection. Or let's say you might have worked with this top company, you have been associated with it, you might have gone for like collaboration with them, you might have done volunteering with them, anything. You have the strong connection with this particular company or a brand. Second is it is highlight what makes them stand out. So basically, like I said, your cover letter should be like an odd one out. Odd one in the sense like it should be having something which the resume doesn't have. Because like how Ruchika said, they might get thousands of applications in a day, which all looks like the same because it all is in white blank page. But what makes different, it should be your cover letter. Now, certain people have asked me, where is the cover letter actually used? Is it used for only times when you are new to the company or only time when you are experienced? Well, that's a very interesting question. Well, I would say cover letter can be used in both scenarios, whether if you are just starting your new career or if you are just experienced in that particular thing. First, I will give you a glimpse about the fresher thing. Let's say you are very new to this organization and everything. So cover letter can actually explain the additional activities you have done in your life so far, because you might have done part-time jobs or some other activities which you might have been collaborating. So that is where you can explain those things in your cover letter if you are a fresher. But if you're an experienced person, more story you got because you have done a lot of multiple collaborations. You must have talked to this people. You must have collaborated this. This must be your success story. So cover letter can be used in both scenarios. So let's go to the next one. Yes,
Yes,
Ruchika.
Nitish. So you are saying if I'm applying for a sales role, yeah, and I have something I have and may not have the experience, but if I have, let's say, participated in my previous organizations, certain aspects, or was a committee member in sales or something to highlight that I have that skill set with me, will it work? Yes.
Yes, if that is something you might have done, maybe a voluntary thing, or you might have participated, you might have done something to make it, you have been equally, I mean, like you have equally contributed to that event, which you might be a part of. Maybe your mind skill or your skill might have actually made that event or an function successful. Your presence was very much appreciated. So that kind of things you can also mention, or even you can mention your learnings. Like if you might have learned something, or this is some skill which I've acquired, or maybe at times, let's say you have not started your work journey, but you have taken various small courses which updates your skills regarding that marketing point or something like that for that role. That also you can, maybe some small certification course about brand management you might have done, or maybe a small workshops you must be attending regularly. So you can actually narrate those things also in the workshop so that the other person knows that you know the particular field. You are not someone who doesn't know the field at all. So I
Absolutely.
hope that answered your
It
question.
does. It does. Okay. Now let's look at a cover letter format. Nitish,
Yes.
I see a very interesting question in the chat box. Can we answer that one? Yeah, is that
Yes, sure,
okay?
sure, sure.
So a very good question, which is it possible to make a resume in form of video? Yes, it is. But
Yeah,
again, like we keep highlighting, because this resume workshop is all about how you can take it one step ahead. Will the video while applying, wherein other thousands of people are applying with you to the job opportunity, will the ATS pick it up? May not, because it's a different format. Remember, we spoke about the format being simple. Okay, a very interesting thought. However, practically may not take you where you want to see yourself. What do you say, Nitish?
definitely, definitely. Because video thing can be a little different, because that can be something if asked, because I have seen certain roles. It's like I'll give you an example. Let's say you go for an interview, okay, you crack the first round or maybe the second round, and they tell you to do an assignment because that is a part of your role. They want you to identify like whether you are a right fit for certain situation, because those assignment questions will be based on you have to give a practical example. What is your thought process if you are put into the situation or put in that role? That's what that assignment is all about. But in the same time, when you are doing something in video, I guess that really changes the depth of your thing, because at times not everything can be done in a video format, I feel.
Yes,
But
yes,
yes, if you have done something creative or something like that, infographic resume type can definitely, but there you can mention all of your achievements. And maybe, I guess, in that particular sector, certain times that people get too much creative and a lot of things happen. If they ask, like, can you give us an insight of your experience in a video format? Only when asked, then
then
that can be done. But on a regular day, I would personally don't recommend to create a video and send it to the organization, because at times in our daily life also, when we get a long video in WhatsApp, we don't download it. So
that's
why
true.
would they download it?
Thank you,
So
Nitish.
that's my
Okay. Now let's
Ruchika,
look
if
at
you could just
sure,
have a
sure.
glimpse about cover
Yeah,
letter format.
let's talk about the
Previous
cover
slide,
letter format.
previous slide, please.
Yeah.
The next
So
one.
yeah, the cover letter is all about pretty much similar to our resume. However, what's important here is the name, address, because like we said, you will have to make one specific cover letter for the job opportunity. So you can't have one that will fit for all or that will be okay for all. So your name, your address, and the basics, today's date, their name. Let's say if you know the one who's posted the job, you address them with their name. If you don't know, then it is safer to stick to HR department. Okay, their title or organization. Like I said, if we don't know, we'll stick to HR department at, let's say, Uni Athena. Okay. Greetings, definitely dear. Again, when we don't know, we stick to sir, ma'am. Yeah. Introduction, wherein you introduce yourself. Body paragraphs and closing. Body as in wherein you highlight, in those paragraphs, you highlight yourself as a suitable applicant for the role. Okay. And then we have a closing paragraph wherein you will tries and highlights why I am the right fit for that role. Okay, so body general paragraph is where you say that this is what I've done and this is what I can contribute. In the end, again, end with highlighting why you are most suited for that role. Salutation in your name. Okay, so this is a simple cover letter format. And a lot of people answering in the chat box, is it necessary to send it in the body of the email? Well, it's up to you. Body of the email is equally good, or you can send it as an attachment also. Okay. Again, few things to remember here, guys. If you are applying from a job posting website, then you may want to send it as an attachment, because a generic email goes when we apply for a job. So if that's the case, then you may want to attach a separate Word document as a cover letter. However, if you know the details of the person, or if you know the HR department where they've published it on a website, then it's better to send in the body of the email. Okay. Yeah.
I have a
Let's
very
move.
interesting question, Ruchika, if I can address in this workshop. So people have asked that how or when the cover letter can be sent, or is it have to be with resume? That's a very interesting question. So I will give you two examples here. One is where we apply through job portals like LinkedIn. Let's say you like some particular profile and you are applying it. So certain applying methods, you might see there are various steps, right? Well, first you put your name, then it asks like, attach the updated resume, then it asks like the location, basic information. At times, the particular person who has posted, there is an option called cover letter. So if they ask, you need to make sure that are they asking any additional documents or something like that? There you can put your cover letter and you can write this, please find my cover letter as well. So that is one technique. The other technique would be, let's say when certain email IDs are given, let's say some friend or some colleague referred to this particular role and they asked you to kindly email your updated resume to that particular HR or particular person and they will get back to you. So you write an email regarding that. So in that particular email, along with the resume, you always add your cover letter stating that I'm also adding my cover letter along with it. Looking forward to hear from you soon. So if you send that, that will also create a better impression. So resumes are always attached with cover letter and also it depends upon the role. Like I said, both people can use the cover letters. But nowadays, majorly the experienced people use it more than the freshers thing. But having said that, both people can use. So I just want to address that.
Okay.
So let's go to the next session. Ruchika, if you can continue about the header and the meetings.
Sure. Well, this is as you know, it showcases the importance of where did the slide go? Yeah, thank you. So it showcases the importance, like Nitish had mentioned, if you know the person where you are applying to, if it's referred by one of your contacts or someone known. Let's say tomorrow Nitish tells me, Ruchika, why don't you apply to this job opening or XYZ? Then I know the person or the company where I'm applying to. So it's better to address them in person and mention their details. So header and greetings are very important. Moving on, let's take a look at paragraph by paragraph. How do you highlight your, the specification? So opening paragraph, position that one is applying to, and how did you find out? Okay. If I know the person and Nitish knows the person and Nitish suggested me, then I will not hesitate and mention his name. Of course, after checking with him, if it's okay or not. Yeah. So then you can, you have a direct connection and you close with a hook because feel free to mention the name after checking with them. Then you talk about your academic introduction. Okay. When you're applying for, let's say, a post of a professor or a lecturer, then academic introduction holds a lot of importance. Okay. Body paragraph, one, skills and characteristics. So highlight the experiences which make you the right fit for the job that you're applying to. Here you can tweak your experiences a little bit as per the organization's ask. Okay. And then conclusion and formal closing. So ensure that the points that are mentioned are all checked. Okay. So you highlight your qualifications as per the kind of ask or the, the requirements as per the job application. Okay. Okay. So do mention your contact information because that's how the employer is going to get in touch with you once you are shortlisted. Yeah. And the letter formally. So thank you for their time. And thank you for, they going through the cover letter. Also,
So, Ruchika, I want to address one thing. Sorry to cut you there. So, one person has asked, is cover letter and application letter the same?
not really. And also, you can't really answer this question as a straightforward because it depends which platform or which mode are you applying, why are you applying rather. Okay. So if it's one of these LinkedIn or a Glassdoor, okay, then your profile is right there. The person can click on your name and see through your, okay. So while there, you may choose not to put in the cover letter because your profile is there. And if it's public, anyone can go and take a look at your profile. However, like we mentioned, if you are applying from a known or a contacts told you to apply for the job somewhere, and yeah, that then you may want to pitch yourself as the most, apt or qualified applicant, then yes, you need a cover letter. And again, everyone has a resume, but cover letter is what sets you apart by highlighting your qualifications and experiences. Okay.
Right. Let's go to the cover letter. So since we already know like what's the importance of cover letter, how it is being made, and paragraph by paragraph we have seen that. Now we are going to see like the checklist. How for traveling things we always have a checklist, or if you want to buy something from the mart, we always have a checklist what to buy, what to not. So for that cover letter also we have some checklists. The first one is emphasize experience to show you are the ideal candidate. So like I mentioned, lot of things can be written in your resume. So that is why we use the cover letter. So if you think like you wanted to, mention specific things in that particular cover letter, maybe your achievement in that particular organization, or maybe this was something which you did and this was like a success story, or this is some initiative which you took and it came out like beautifully. So if you wanted to highlight certain experiences of your work thing, why you are the best for that particular role, always such experiences always gets highlighted in the cover letter. So make sure that if you have certain experiences like that, make sure you do mention in that cover letter. Second thing is it should be narrative in style and match the tone of the organization and be professional. As you know, right, this resumes or cover letters, every time the tone or the language is always seen, right? No matter how clear we want, sometimes we can't go direct. Even though in our mind we wanted to be direct, but at the same time we need to keep it professional and match the tone, because you might meet different set of people in an organization. If you're at times you might meet certain people who are very happy go lucky people, they always like the males and think they are very chill people, and their tone of language is also very nice and they don't mind at times, certain words they take it in a chill pill. But there are certain people who might get offended by certain words because they would be thinking like, oh, why is this person talking like that, or why is that person is mentioning like that. They might not like the tone of that letter, or they might not like the words they have used. So at times when certain people find that particular things not right or appropriate, they might reject your thing only because your writing style or the tone was not good. It might even happen that, let's say you have 15 years of experience, but you don't know how to write. What's the point? Right, Ruchika? It's like a clear no-no. So in the cover letter also, how you mention the professionalism and the formal tone in that thing, here also you should always write in such a way that it looks professional, and at the same time it also describes what you're trying to say or portray. The third point is no longer than one page, around 3 to 5 paragraphs, right? Certain times cover page is not like 27 pages, like how we said 27 pages because I'm that amazing. No, it should be an additional one page attachment where in 3 to 5 paragraphs, it really describes the achievements of your full career journey or additional achievements of your career journey. So cover letter page should not be no longer than one page. So this is a very important thing because at times people write 2, 3 pages, which is not required because cover page is just an additional set. The last two things are use same font as resume for consistency across your documents. Let's say, for example, if you're using Times New Roman, you must have used some font, or you must be using Arial font. So make sure that you are using the same font for your cover letter. It's like, I'll give you a funny example. Let's say you are writing, okay? Let's say in there are 2 pages. For both pages, you will be using your writing style. You will only write. It's not like first page I'll write, second page Ruchika will write. So the writing thing gets changed because they automatically identify like these are the two individuals whose writing style is way different. The same way, you should use the same font, same tone for all the writings and additional things which you are mentioning. Last thing, tailor and customize your cover letter of each application. So for every time you need to upgrade, like how in every resume you update your work details. Let's say in your previous resume, you might have only reached 8 years. Let's say after 2, 3 years, when you update your resume, it would be like 10, 12 years in your particular thing. So in that same way, with your cover letter also, the experience or the scenarios gets changed. just a tip, don't use one same cover letter for your whole career journey. At times, people will be like, oh, I won't make additional cover letter. I will use all same cover letter for all of my work journeys. Don't do that. Every time, make sure you upgrade your cover letter with better experiences and better examples. So these are some of the checklists for cover letter. Now we'll go to the next one.
We have the next poll now.
Next poll now. Now, it's been a while since we talk about cover letters and resumes, and now it's a time for the poll. Okay, now the next poll discuss all about questions because resumes is done, cover letter is done. Now people will be thinking, oh, there will be questions also in the interview. So let's talk about that. So the poll is about that. Now, this is a very interesting question, Ruchika. Question, I will read out to you. Which classic interview question feels like deja vu every time? Deja vu. First
So-
option, tell me about yourself. Second is, what's your greatest weakness? Third is, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And fourth is, why should we hire you? I'm sure, Ruchika, you must be also getting deja vu.
Okay, so for everyone's benefit, let's tell you what deja vu means. I'm sure
Deja
most
vu
of you know.
means.
But deja vu is the feeling of like you've experienced it before, right? So I'm sure when you're sitting in front of the interviewer and he or she or a person asks you, tell me about yourself, and you're like, same question every time, right? So that feeling. Which question out of these makes you feel like that? What's your greatest weakness? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Why should we hire you?
So,
So when
Ruchika, you tell me, what is your deja vu? What do you think, like,
I think
in
tell
your
me about
experience?
yourself, because you know you are anxious, you are kind of you want to go ahead with the
Yeah, yeah.
interview. But the good
You're
old
bored
tell
of
me about
introducing
yourself.
yourself, right? You're bored of introducing yourself again and again and again. That is
But
where you
see,
wanted a video. Like you could just show the
that's very
video, or
true.
you are asking. Okay, you can see the video, and
Please go
yeah,
through my video and then if you have any questions. But jokes apart, see, while this question may make us feel like we've answered it multiple times, but this is what sets the ball rolling. This is the
yeah.
most crucial question. Now let's take a look at the answers.
Every time we upgrade ourselves by answering the C.
Okay.
Tell me about
Yeah,
yourself,
well, oh, wow,
everybody.
that's amazing.
50%.
50% of people, yes, I feel the same. Tell me about yourself brings you that feeling, because there
Yeah.
you're sitting there, anxious, a little bit nervous, waiting for the
And the
interview.
next one is, why should we hire you? That's
Why should
again a
we hire?
very crucial question.
Quite oftenly asked, or pretty much every
Thank you
time
so
asked.
much, guys. Thank you so much,
Thank
guys,
you for
for
answering this.
answering this. I'm sure, like how Ruchika mentioned, that every time, even though this is a deja vu for all of us, but every time, whenever we say in our mind, is always upgraded. We always try to make it better so that next time when you answer that particular question, we feel that how is that better from the previous one? You never know that revised answer might land you your dream role or dream job. Now, here we are reaching to almost the end of our workshop. So we thought let's discuss some of the most common used interview questions in
That's
the field of
interesting.
freshers and experience. So first, we are going to see certain questions which are mostly asked when you are really new to your career or when you're a fresher. And
Or when
later,
you're
we are also going to
straight
see
out of the
certain
college.
questions which is experienced. Yes.
Yeah.
Certain time, we even though these questions are like normal, but these are some of the questions which you should be knowing. And we are also gonna showcase which are the most common interview questions, which is most commonly used when you are an experienced person. Okay. So would you like to do the freshers part, Ruchika?
Sure. So, can you tell me a little about yourself? Well, I think this question falls in all categories, be it fresher, experienced, vast experience also, right? This is like an icebreaker for the interviewer also, where the person can kind of trying to gauge about yourself and you as an applicant trying to put the best foot, put the best image of yourself out there. So yeah, can you tell me a little bit about yourself and why should we hire you? Right? This is the question that's asked mostly by people who are, who are freshers. So wherein you want to answer it by saying that I'm going to give my 100% and I will do my best, which is true, right? So this is one of the common question that is asked. Your greatest professional strength. It's a little funny because you're yet to explore what's your professional strength, right? As a fresher. But yet you're asked that question because they want to kind of assess, maybe looking at what is it that this person's going to answer, right? A lot of times certain questions are asked to see what your answer will be. Okay, may not be judging you on that answer, but just to see what comes to your mind or how do you tackle that question. Okay, now what's your greatest weakness? There is no harm in accepting or admitting that we have certain weaknesses. So if there is, feel free to mention it, but not personal. The question's professional, in a professional environment, so stick to a professional environment here. Now, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Some people can definitely answer this as their short-term goals. So it could be maybe buying a car, so I see probably working with the same company, yet I want to save enough to maybe buy a car or, work on, scale up the ladder at your organization, go 2 levels above, up with my hard work, something on those lines. Remember, there are no right or wrong answers. Okay, this is just out of our experience that we are sharing with you. Okay. All right, let's move on to the interviewer questions
Next
commonly
one
asked. Experienced.
for experienced. Next slide, please. Yes. So how Ruchika has mentioned about certain questions which is frequently asked when you are starting your career. We have just passed out from school, high college. Those were some questions which Ruchika gave us a glimpse. I'm going to give a glimpse about certain questions, even though we have a lot of exposure and experience at times, everybody has to go to the interview, right? To get a new role and everything. Even though even the person who's 20, 30 years experience, if you wanted to go to a different role, he or she also have to crack an interview. It's like an audition. Like even you are the actor who got an Oscar or something like that, still you need to audition for that certain character. Because if the director doesn't feel you don't fit, then it's something which you need to improve. The same way, there were certain interview questions which we have picked up, and we feel these are the most common used or common asked questions in the interview for the experienced one. First one is, what do you know about our company? So at times, since slowly you progress to an experienced stage from the fresher to the experienced person, when you apply for a particular company, it could be a branded company, or it could be a regular company, or it could be like a top-notch company. So the first thing what people want to know is that, do you really know where which company you are applying? Because certain people, they just apply randomly, and when asked, they don't have a clue about it because they have multiple things in their mind. So that is a big, big, big no for not knowing, I mean, not knowing that particular company's details. So you should always be prepared, or you should always be very much what do you say, like very much knowing about that company history. Always research about that company before you go for an interview, because it is very, very important. Because you might never know, they might ask one question and they can take you. They might ask, like, what was the financial report of that? What was the success ratio of that last year of our company? Or who is the CEO of that company? Or what is the vision of our company? Certain times when you're clueless about that answer, it might really take your chance of getting that role. Second thing is, why should we hire you? Now, as you may see in the fresher thing, also we have this question. In the experience thing, also we have the same question. So here, the only difference here is, there you can actually boost your things, and you can actually pitch your thing. This is you're capable of. But here, since you have already found some exposure and experience, this is where you really pitch your years of experience. What is that X factor in you? What makes you different from out of that crowd? Maybe you might have achieved this, maybe this certification you might have done, you might be knowing this language, or this, you might be knowing this technical skills. Because as you may see, every job description might ask certain requirements. Let's say, for example, certain job role might want you to be expert in German language or French language, or certain job role might want you to be expert in data or AI or blockchain. If you have that particular thing, you should use that particular keyword in this particular thing, because that acts a strong point, because that is something which they are looking for, that particular position. The next thing is, why are you looking to leave your current company? Now, this is a very crucial question. Many of them generally says that, oh, that payment was not good enough, or I wanted to change because of financial things or some other things, and it could be a lot of things, but always have a valid reason, because sometimes certain company won't want you to just give a random answer. Because if you really give like a very basic answer here, that might lose a chance, because they might think, oh, this guy's already left that company after 3 months or 4 months. If I select this candidate here, the same procedure he's gonna do it here. He is again gonna leave this company also after 3, 4 months. So if there is something in your resume where you have worked for a shorter period of time, make sure you always have a justification, or a very genuine justification, or a right justification why you left that. Because let's say your that particular person reads your resume, let's say 2 years, okay, 4 years, oh, 6 months, then he will target that 6 months. All the attention goes to that 6 months. So you really need to convince the other person that why you had to leave. If you just say that, oh, I found a better opportunity, that's not good, right? Then the other person will think, oh, then for the other interview also, you will say the same thing. You got a better opportunity, now you're leaving this organization also. So this particular answer, you need to answer very, very smartly. Next thing is, next question I met, tell me about a challenge or conflict you have faced at work and how do you deal. Now, this is a question which will describe how you did your role at that previous organization. Here, you need to mention your achievements or maybe some initiative. Like I said, maybe you might have taken an initiative. It might be like a good initiative. It might be like something which you help the company to solve. It could be something which you started and it became a huge success. Or maybe you stepped into someone else's shoes and made it a grand success. So you can give multiple examples of your achievements, stating that, okay, this was a condition or this was a scenario where I pitched in, this was the idea, or this was the solution I provided, or this was something which I proposed and everyone liked it, or everything came into the right frame. So sometimes real life experiences or practical examples can really make your presentation in the interview look more real, rather than just saying that, oh, I have done this, I have done that. But if you give it more examples, it will make it more likely. The last question is, how do you deal with pressure or stressful situations? Now, this is a very important question. This is a very important question for that particular role, which is more of target based or where there's a lot of pressure. So, as you know, the more high you grow, a lot of people are under you and more stress and power are there. So in that kind of situation, you might see a lot of people always tensed, or they don't have time for their regular life. They are always on the calls, emails, managing the conflicts and everything. So always certain people from the top company, they wanted to know, how do you handle such situations? Are you a person who runs away from the situation, or are you a person who keeps calm and try to have like multiple solutions? Indirectly, they also wanted to know your decision making things and your problem solving skills here. So if you really know how to cope up with the stress, if you know plan A, plan B, plan C, if you're a person who has multiple solutions, or if you're a person who handles the situation very calmly, then your answer will reflect that. Or if you're a person who thinks like, oh, I have never experienced a pressure in my life. So that's, of course, that's a no answer. So these are some of the questions which I feel is the most commonly asked in an experience interview. And from our point of view, we try to give you a glimpse what to say and what are the things you should be careful about when handling such questions. Now we come to the last of our workshop. That is, next slide, please. Yeah. So this is a quick workshop recap of what we have done so far so that everybody gets an idea of what we have covered in this workshop so far. In this
So,
workshop, we have decided that we will try to keep it proper, and then we have highlighted certain points in such a way that every point gets a significance, right? Now, Ruchika will just give a glimpse about what it was about. Yes,
so
Ruchika.
we spoke about resume and the ATS, how ATS software, which is an application tracking system, helps in picking up the right resume by matching the keywords. What are the various different kinds of resume? How to have an effective resume. Then we spoke about cover letters and its importance and significance. And we kind of gave you an overview of certain commonly asked questions. Yeah. Now, Nitish, we've almost come to the end of it. So we'll take up questions from participants. Yeah.
Yes, definitely. So we are going to take a very good question before the survey. We would love to hear from you, like what's your experience, and we would love to take certain questions, and we would even like to see you, right?
Yeah, so
So
if
let's
you all
see.
can raise hands, if you know that
Yeah,
option, then we can unmute one by one and answer your questions
and we can
live.
take your questions. Yeah. So requesting you, if anybody has questions or something that's bothering them, you can always raise your hand. And as the word suggests, hand, how Ruchika said, we will reach out to you. So we can see a lot of people.
The survey form that you see in the chat box has only 3 questions, so that
Yeah.
if in future we plan to come up with a more advanced workshop on resume
Webinar.
building, so then we would like to hear from you and see your opinion, see what you want. So it only has 3 questions. Please take out a minute of your time, and if you can fill this form. Thank you.
To give a broader version, so what Ruchika is mentioning that since the time we are picking up the best questions and answering a question, we are actually sending a survey form. That survey form consists of 3 questions, where the questions are based on the workshop, how you find the workshop, what are the things which you really like. That in future, if you want such workshops, what is the topic which you propose, right? And major votes can really win that workshop title, and we would love to give you a tour of that particular title workshop or the topic workshop. So it's time to take out some beautiful questions from the participants.
Okay,
So
so Nitish, if you can call out the name of the person, please.
just a second. You could see a
Okay,
lot of questions.
yeah, please go ahead, Nitish, and name the person. We'll unmute you, and then if you can ask your question
You
live.
can ask. Yeah.
Nitish, if you can mention the person's name, please read out their name. Or I
Yeah.
can see
There is a technical error
a
from this.
Benjamin Amote, if that's the correct pronunciation.
Yeah, Benjamin. Is there Benjamin here?
Okay,
You
we
can
have
unmute
Mohammed.
yourself.
Hey, Mohammed, can you hear us?
Can you hear us, Mohammed?
Hi, can you hear us?
You can hear. Can you hear Ruchika? I don't
No,
think
no,
so.
I can't, unfortunately.
Okay, we have lost him. We have Shahab. Shahabuddin Khan. Yes, Shahab.
Hi,
Can
Nitish
you
and
hear
Ruchika.
us?
How are you? Hope you're doing good.
Thank
Can you hear
you.
me?
Great,
Yes,
great.
yes, we can.
Yes, we are doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you. I would just like to ask a question. How would you guide someone with a diverse, professional experience. Just like me, I have a relevant experience from academia and a 5 years experience from hospitality industry as well. How do I put down my resume, and how do I, collectively make it in the form of a CV? How would you differentiate between both of them? And what impact does have a CV with collective information have on the employers, and two separate resumes for the relevant job role? Can you please guide me?
Great. Thank you so much, Shahab, for that question. So like I said, your resume actually fits into the functional category, okay, of resume where your experience is different. Like initial years you have been doing some different domain, and later you have come across a different domain. Okay. So you don't have to create multiple resumes for that. You can always make one resume, but the only thing which you need to focus is like which area you want to go ahead, or which sector you are more interested. Let's say, for example, in the initial years, you have done what you said, you have started off with
Academia, education management,
academia, and later, which field you mentioned?
hospitality, account as an accountant
Hospital.
and front office manager.
Okay, so both fields are way different. So now you need to identify which field you wanted to go ahead. Is it academia again you wanted to take and try your expertise again, or is it the next one? Or is it something else altogether?
Mhm,
So first you need
mhm.
to understand that. Okay, once you
Thank
finalize
you.
that, like I said, ATS actually helps identifying the keywords. So you can actually use the ATS to identify what are the keywords for that particular role. So let's say you are applying for something academia, for example, in future you wanted to have something in academia. So you
Mhm.
would find certain keywords which will actually fit the job profile or something like that. In that way, you can actually focus on that particular field rather than creating an additional resume for it.
Oh, makes
I would
sense. Thank
suggest
you.
that.
Thank you.
All
Thank you,
right.
Shahab.
Okay, next question. Nitish, a lot of people are
Benjamin.
saying that, yeah, I will answer Benjamin's question. If you can take a look at the Google form, please.
All
A
right.
lot of
Okay, just a
comments.
sec.
Hi, Benjamin.
Hello, Benjamin. How are you?
Yeah, hi. I'm good. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, yes, we can.
Yes, yes,
Please.
yes, 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 yes. We
All
can hear you.
right. Okay. I am an IT personnel, and I want to know the. I know I've gone through. You've gone through with us the functional reason. How do you call it? The combination. Is it the combination? Is that it? Yeah, sure. I want to know if me as an IT personnel, should I have to be changing my resume, or it has to be the same content? Because most of the times I do want to learn more professional development courses, so I do update my resume with my professional development courses, the certificates I get sometimes from Google, sometimes from Coursera, sometimes from LinkedIn. So I want to know, as I update, mostly there are no spaces to put them because I have a lot of courses that I've done and I want to put everything. How do you help me to put some key courses that I have done? Because I intend to let my new employer get to know what I have done or what I can do, the skills I possess. Yes. So if mine can really decrease the font size so it get to one page, I just want to get your advice. Then I want to know the second question. Can I go ahead with the second question?
Sure. You have
Yeah.
two
Okay.
questions for us, right?
All right. All
But
right.
before that,
So
if I can
I
address
was
your first question, Benjamin. Benjamin, are you there?
okay. So the second yeah, I'm there. I just clicked on the survey link and it says I need permission to fill the survey link. So please check on that so that I'll be able to. I clicked on it and said I need permission. Yes, please check on it so that I will be able to fill it. Thank you very much, and I'm very grateful.
Thank you so much,
yeah.
Benjamin, for that. I think that's a technical we are trying. We will fix it for
So-
you. The second
So,
question. Yeah.
yeah, just to highlight that that we've shared the link at 5:27. If you can fill that one, please, and that should help you all. Okay, please let us know if
Yeah.
you have any, if you are able to fill it or not. Okay. Also, Nitish, would you like to answer the question?
Yeah. So answering to your first question, since you're into IT profile, right? And during our workshop, we had mentioned a type of resume called the combination resume. Okay, that particular resume actually showcases the technical skills or updated things because you had mentioned that you have additionally done a lot of things. So I would suggest you to go for the format of combination resumes so that you don't have to highlight everything because in the combination resumes, technical skills or the skills highlights more. And your particular role, skills is something which is very much highlighted in your growth. If you wanted to grow more, certain people looks at your skills, right? Certain people will think that, okay, this is something he has done or this is something which he has acquired. So that is something I feel like you should follow and you should stick to that format, Benjamin. Hello?
All right.
Yeah. I hope that answered your question, Benjamin. Thank you.
Okay. Who do we have next?
I hope the form is working now. I guess I guess we are
Yes,
getting the
Aubrey.
responses. So I guess yeah. Hello, Aubrey. How are you doing, Aubrey?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
good afternoon, good morning, good
Good
night.
afternoon.
I'm speaking from Zambia, Lusaka.
Okay.
I'm a human resource manager. Thank you very much for information, but it's becoming difficult that sometimes the employers themselves are not trained how to review CVs or resume. So I don't know how we can help. No matter sometimes someone has presented it, we might not know the reason why someone has written it like that. So I don't know how we can help the employers. Sometimes it's very difficult.
So what was your question, Aubrey? You are finding it difficult to update the resume, is it? Is that what you're implying or how it is?
Yes, I want to update it like the way the previous speaker asked the question to say that, for example, I'm an HR professional, and then I see the advert for maybe marketing. How do I tailor that resume from HR to marketing? But I've got knowledge, I can go about that. At the same time, I'm saying some employers, they don't know about the difference between those combination you have explained, chronological combination of resume or infogram, all those different types of CVs. Not all employers have got that knowledge. So how do we tailor it?
So yeah, so Aubrey, I will just give you a quick glimpse so that you can tell your people. It's like a very simple difference. I'm gonna give you the difference between a chronological and a functional one. Okay. So chronological resume is something which, if you are sticking to one individual set of career or a field, let's say, for example, if you are in the HR field for 10 years, 20 years, you're not changing the field in that 10, 20 years, you are only upgrading your position. Let's say you start off maybe with an HR executive, then you go for an HR manager and then senior manager, and then later goes on. So if you are a person who's sticking to that particular profession and that field for the longer run, that is where the chronological resume takes place. And you have also given me an example where you were in the HR and then marketing thing or something like that. So if you're a person who keeps on changing or there is a lot of changes, let's say you start off with HR, then you went to the marketing, then you go to again HR, then again you change to different domain or sector. So that is where the functional resume takes picture. Okay, so when in your particular organization, if you are a person who handles that HR process, you need to identify like what kind of resumes are they? Are they chronological resumes? Are they functional resumes? And we also gave a glimpse about combination resume where it is mostly used for the technical roles, like where skills are most mentioned, and infographic, of course, where if it's a creative role or something like that, where everything has to be very creative and appealing. So in that way, you will be able to identify the types of resumes in your organization. And I guess this is a way where you can even address people about the significance of it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Aubrey, for that question. I guess we can take two more questions, Ruchika, I guess,
Sure.
since we are running out of time. Two more
Or should
questions.
we read questions from the chat box, Nitish? Is that all right?
We have someone, newborn,
Yeah.
newborn,
Newborn, is that correct?
newborn.
Hello.
That's a different name. Hello, how are you?
Hello. Fine, thank you.
Hey,
Can you hear me?
yes, we can.
Yes.
All right. I was talking about some curriculum vitae and a response on resume repository. And one of the basic things is the astonishment one gets near an interview secretary who handles the letters from various applicants. So is there a way where we can get an instant approval resume which can speak on our behalf and some matter of our qualifications also, in indicating the job status, whether arrived at the job or pending results later? Thank you so much, Natisha and Ruchika.
Okay. So, Newborn, if I've understood your question correctly, you want to know to apply for a secretary position, what is the kind of resume? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Do you have any experience, Newborn?
Yes, I have an experience. I've been working for Department for Infrastructure, for the Department of Supply Chain.
Okay.
And also I have been working
How
on
long
a
you have been
purchasing.
working for? Newborn, how long you have
4
been
years.
working in this industry?
4 years, since 2018.
And
I'm from
2018.
Kenya.
you're
Yeah.
from Kenya. And is it the
Yeah.
same job designation that you're working on right now?
Yes, it is the one I'm acting on, procurement stores clerk.
Okay. So I think,
Yeah.
so you put the summary out there in your resume, and then you describe what you're doing right now, highlight your, your key achievements here at this opportunity, at this work right now. And then maybe in the cover letter, you may want to present why, according to you, you think you'll be the best fit for the secretary position.
All right.
Does that answer your question?
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay, you're welcome.
I have a very interesting question. I think I should answer. That's a very basic question, and it would be like a refreshing thing. So, resume and CV, are they different? No, they are both same. It's just that different terms. Resume is also called CV. So I guess we can take one more question, the last question of the day. Maybe we can take it from the chat box, Ruchika.
Yes,
we are,
and to simplify what Nitish just said, it's like Instagram is the new Facebook, right? So CV was the term we all were familiar with earlier, but now it is called as resume. And a lot of questions, a lot of you were asking the same question. Is CV important? Yes. Then I think Kaushik, I think he asked me if we can get in touch with resume writers. Yes, feel free to get in touch with resume writers and get your resumes made. However, remember, you are the best judge to highlight your own achievements. Okay. So yeah. So while you may go to someone and ask them to write, but remember, we've got a lot of tools online these days that can help you in terms of, language and drafting, rather than, paying a lot of money and getting your resume made. Okay. What sections in the resume is most important to put? Everything pretty much. Let me quickly take this up, Nitish. So your name, address, everything should be up to date, accurate address. If you moved recently, Please mention the current address, your email ID, contact number, because those are the modes of contacting you. Then if you have a LinkedIn profile or Glassdoor or any other networking app or website, whichever is used or is most commonly used in your country, then mention that. Your date of birth, even things that may seem basic, I'm just going to highlight your educational qualification, your college, what have you done, any additional courses if you've done, any short-term courses if you've done, if you played, let's say, football or basketball in your school, college. It is more relevant for people who are freshers. Definitely highlight that. People who have experience, do highlight if you took up any initiatives at your workplace, if you participate in any kind of seminars or hosted a meeting or anything of that sort. Okay. Also, one more question that I see, is there a common format that can be used? Well, pretty much if you Google at this point in time also resume, it's a very basic format that is followed all across. Okay, so there is no format as such, but highlighting your personal information and basics, and that's about it. Which file format is better, PDF or DOCX? I think docs, DOC or DOCX, whichever is more appropriate. Some ATS, some ATS may not read PDF, Mohammed. So I think sticking to DOC or DOCX is good. Yes, Nitish, over to
Ruchika, I
you.
have one important question, which I guess like we will answer and then we'll wrap it up. So certain people have asked that which photo to be attached in the resume and the cover letter. Okay, so let me tell you, in the resume, you should always put like a professional photo because it's always sent to that particular person. Cover letter photo is not important. It's an optional thing because you're already attaching your resume, so that particular person will know that it is your cover letter. Number one. Number two is, you might have seen in various LinkedIn profiles, like people have put their different photos. So make sure all of your photographs look, or if you are attaching some profile photo of yours, make sure it is quite appealing and it should stick to that
Professional.
professional term. You can't just put like, I'll give you a funny example. You can't just put like a party picture on your LinkedIn profile, right? It has to be something, because sometimes looking at your attire also creates a lot of difference, because
Yeah.
the person will think that, oh, that particular lady or that particular guy is very professional, right? Because at times we have to have certain things professional, not because to show others, but to make sure that we are also very much serious about the word professional, right? So thank you so much, everyone, for being a lovely audience. We really had a fantastic time conducting
you
this beautiful
very much,
workshop with you
everyone.
guys. Yes, and sorry, guys, we could not take much questions as we are running out of time. Next time, we'll make sure that we will definitely take your questions, right, Ruchika?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, each and every one of you, from for joining us from different parts of the world. Thank you very much. Hope we've covered, we've tried our best to answer as much as
Yes.
possible. But yes, do fill in
Thank
the
you so
Google form
much.
so that we can come up with the next workshop on similar lines to help you all. Thank you and take care. Have a good weekend, all of you guys.
Bye, everyone. Take care.